Hello and welcome to the new Culinary Haven. It's been a long journey, frustrating and dispiriting, but it's done. I'm not going to open that door. The house is still a mess, but the kitchen is finished, and that's all that matters. And I'm delighted to welcome you to my new kitchen. And to celebrate this occasion, I would like to share with you one of my absolute favorite, a recipe for lemon and poppy seed cake with white chocolate glaze. I've been revising and improving the recipe over the years, and this is the final cut. Let's begin. To make Culinary Haven lemon and poppy seed cake with white chocolate glaze, we'll need 250 grams of sugar, 3 large eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, pure vanilla extract, 150 grams of unsalted butter at room temperature, 300 grams of sour cream, 300 grams of plain flour, 75 grams of poppy seeds, a zest of a whole lemon and a juice of half of the lemon, half a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and a quarter of a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, and also 5 drops of pure lemon oil. If you don't have lemon oil, you can use lemon extract, which you can buy in any baking section in the supermarket. And for the glaze, we'll need 150 grams of sour cream, 150 grams of white chocolate or white chocolate chips, 15 grams of butter, 3 tablespoons of icing sugar, 5 drops again of lemon oil or lemon extract, and 1 dessert spoon of limoncello. Let's start with preparing the batter. Normally, I would bake this cake in a 23 centimeters in diameter springform cake tin. I can't find it, so I'm going to use a 25 centimeter, a little bit wider, so the cake will be a little bit shorter, which is fine. It'll still be very moist. Whichever tin you use, I advise you to align it with baking parchment, because the batter will be very, very thin, very wet, and even if you think that your springform won't leak, it will, or it might. So just to make sure it doesn't, line it with baking parchment. I'm going to make the batter today in a stand mixer. You can also do it with an electric whisk. And we'll start with beating the butter and the sugar in the stand mixer with a paddle attachment until it's nice, light and fluffy. Butter, 250 grams of sugar. If you see that the butter is spread around the sides of the bowl, just pause, scrape it down and continue. And now we're going to start adding the eggs one at a time. Very nice, light, creamy, smooth. 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Whisk it in. You can add it at any point, just before I forget. Now we're going to prepare the lemon. Scrub it well, make sure it's not waxed. If it is, hot water, scrub it, wipe it, then use the zest. Just the yellow part of the skin, and half of the lemon will juice it. The zest. into the bowl. That noise is the oven is preheating. We need to preheat the oven to 160 or 170 degrees Celsius, depends on your oven and how hot it gets. With my new oven, I found out that 160 is actually medium hot, and it is enough for this cake. Whisk the zest in. Now we'll add the sour cream. 300 grams, a whole tub of sour cream. So it will be a plus the juice of the lemon. It's going to be a really wet batter, but don't worry and don't think you need to add more flour or anything. It's going to be fine. It's going to be the most amazing, fragrant, moist and beautiful cake. If you like lemon and if you like poppy seeds, you will love this cake. I adore it. That's it, the whole tub, and we'll whisk it in. I used to have my mixer standing there, and I was doing everything with my left hand, and I am left-handed, so I'm just constantly touching the wrong liver. I'll get used to it. Scrape off the sides. Everything is nice and smooth and well incorporated. Adding the lemon juice. And now the dry ingredients. We're going to sift into the bowl the flour, the salt, baking powder and bicarbonate of soda. Half a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, level teaspoons, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. Be very careful when you're adding soda. You can very easily overdo it and then get this unpleasant sort of soapy aftertaste, and it changes the color of baking goods. Just be careful with soda. Sift it in. Don't skip this process. Sifting is important. Back into the stand. Mix it very gently, just for a couple of seconds. And now we will add the poppy seeds, 75 grams of poppy seeds on low. And mix just until combined. Prepare your baking tin or whichever you're using. This is just aluminium tin, which is very good, very good provider of the heat, bakes evenly. Or a spring form, the traditional one, line it with baking parchment. Scrape everything off the paddle. All these months when the kitchen was being rebuilt, more than anything, I missed the baking. Such a lovely thing to do. Make sure that there's nothing untouched on the bottom of your bowl, and pour the batter into your tin. And I forgot to add the lemon oil. It's only 5 tiny drops. And just hopefully it will work. I don't want to miss out on that incredible fragrance of the lemon oil. And we're going to place it into the preheated to 160 or 170 degrees Celsius oven for 50 minutes, rotating halfway if your oven requires. The cake is ready. It took 50 minutes exactly in my oven at 170 degrees Celsius today, and we'll let it stand for about 10 minutes in the tin before we remove it. Now we'll take it out of the tin. It's of course still very warm, perfectly baked. As you can see, it's not very tall, but it will be very moist and light and lovely. Like I said, 40 to 50 minutes. If you're not sure, after 40 minutes, open the oven and just test it with a toothpick, and if it comes out clean, it's almost ready, and if it's a little bit sticky, just give it. And now we'll let it cool until it's sort of warm, and in the meantime we'll prepare the glaze. Let's prepare the glaze. Small jug or a small saucepan. We're going to put 150 grams of white chocolate. I'm using white chocolate chips, 15 grams of butter, 150 grams of sour cream. I was never happy with the taste of white chocolate glaze made with cream, and you won't believe the difference in flavor. Instead of being sort of bland and just sweet, this was sweet and tangy, and it's just so lovely. 3 tablespoons of icing sugar, and we will prepare it on the hob on a very low heat until the chocolate and the butter melt and the icing sugar dissolves. So on a very, very low heat, stir it all together. We don't want to burn the chocolate, and we don't want the sour cream to curdle, so just very gentle heat. It doesn't take long. 15 grams of butter, it's about a tablespoon. This is it. And the cake has cooled down, and I'm going to transfer it onto this large plate. And pour the glaze over it. Just start from the center. Don't need to do much. It will sort out itself. Just slowly spread and go over the edges. This is it. Perfect amount. And now we'll just let it sit here until the glaze sets, and then when it does, we will garnish it with some candied lemon slices. And now, when the cake is completely cold, we're going to decorate it, not that it needs any, with some candied lemon slices. Put them around the cake like so. I think it's very pretty. If you don't have candied lemon slices, you can use lemon jellies or just even lemon peel, or just leave it as it is. And maybe one in the center. It's pretty, isn't it? Just make sure that the glaze is set before you do that, if you do decide to decorate the glaze with anything. And also, when you actually apply the glaze on the cake, I was in a hurry, so it was a little bit tricky to keep the glaze on top and prevent it from just quickly running down. So just give it a little bit of time for the cake to cool down and for the glaze as well not to be too warm. And now let's cut. It's so great to be back in our regular routine, and keep an eye out for our new episodes. Thank you for watching this episode of Culinary Haven, and until next time, bye!